Good evening and welcome to the meeting of North Penn School District's Board of School Directors, September 14th, 2017. We have a show for you, so watch one of our screens to get an update.
Welcome to this North Penn News Update. I'm Anissa Gardisi. It's been a spectacular open to the 2017-2018 school year. Many schools have already held their back-to-school nights at their buildings. Check npenn.org for the remaining back-to-school nights for our schools. North Penn High School forged a link between middle school and the high school during sophomore orientation. The link crew, in its second year, immersed students in the culture and school spirit of North Penn High School. The link crew spent weeks preparing for orientation and shared the excitement and opportunities that our high school offers. The North Penn Alumni Association is hosting a career day at North Penn High School on September 27th. Alumni from 20 different career paths will be on hand to talk to students about career advice and pathways to success after high school. If you are interested in being a part of the career day, please visit npenn.org. Check Career Day under Headlines and News. Montgomery Elementary School opened on time, and students and teachers are settling into their new digs. Are you a former football player, marching knight, or cheerleader? Join us to play, march, or cheer. Don't worry, we'll have an ambulance on site. Be sure to visit our district Facebook page and give us a like while you check out profiles on two of our Knights of Honor inductees this month, Dr. Barry Chasen and Bonnie Rosen. And finally, did you know we have an app for that? I mean us. Download the district mobile app today on the App Store or Google Play for news updates, calendar events, and even notifications on your students' grades. Sorry, kids. It's free and a good place to check out all things North Penn. That's it for this North Penn News Update. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to our regularly scheduled action meeting. This meeting is being videotaped for community cable channels. Individuals attending this meeting and intending to speak to the board should be aware that they are being videotaped. In order to meet the requirements of Pennsylvania's Sunshine Law, it is necessary to record the names of all citizens who speak to the board during the meeting. To assure compliance with this requirement, it is essential that those planning to address the board come to the microphone, state their name and address, and sign the Audience of Citizens logbook. Members of the audience are asked to limit their questions and comments. To allow time for all those who wish to speak to the board president may ask the individual to yield the microphone to the next speaker. And now, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome again. Before we start our agenda, the public should be aware that the board did meet in executive session this evening, September 14th, 2017, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. to discuss matters of potential litigation. Also, the public should be aware during Audience of Citizens under Other Business, I intend to make a motion to nominate PSBA candidates for President David Hutchinson, Vice President Eric Wolfgang, Treasurer Mike Gossert, Central Rep Larry Augustine, Western Rep Dan O'Keefe, and PSBA Insurance Trust Michael Fascinato. Terry, go ahead. Make the notice.
The notice?
Tell the public that you're planning on nominating one of the other people.
I'm planning on nominating Otto Voigt for president.
So the public should be aware of that as we take our audience of citizens. So let's move forward with one of our favorite part of our meetings, which is recognition and proclamations. Dr. Dietrich.
Thank you, Mr. President. This evening we are pleased to recognize 3 students who participated in the North Penn International Friendships Committee's sponsored International Exchange Program. And with us this evening we have Ted Knaus to introduce these 3 students.
Hi, Ted.
Hi, my name is Ted Knaus. I'm president of the North Penn International Friendship Committee. I don't know if all of you know what we do, but we run the international program since 1962. It's been over 50 years that we've been doing this, and basically we send students abroad and bring students here. Our program recently has been designed to actually have partner schools in other countries where we always send a student there, and they always send a student here. So we do know who we're getting, and so we don't work too much with large international programs. Now, we do have, we are part of the U.S. Homeland Security, and we do pay a fee once every other year to be part of that. And so we have to follow the rules and regulations of that, which are very strict in determining how you obtain host families and how you also select students to go abroad or select students to bring to here in Lansdale. Very proud of this program, and I'm so excited about introducing the students that are returning this year from our sister schools, and I'd like to introduce each one, but I wanted to also tell you that they really represented North Penn, themselves, their family, the community, and our country so well. They were great ambassadors, and I am so proud to introduce them tonight. First, I'd like to introduce Grace Lewis. Grace went to Aalen, Germany, and spent a year there. Next, I'd like to introduce Mary Beth Neiman. She went to Salzgitter, Germany, and spent a year there. And lastly, I introduce Caitlin Van Dam. She was in Madrid, Spain for a year.
I would like an opportunity for each and every one of you to let the full board and administration thank you. And Ed, would you come up after that?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome, I think. A year. I think so too.
Hold on, again. Hold on, again.
Congratulations. Welcome back.
Were you there in the summer?
I was not. I love them.
You didn't get to enjoy the weather? Ted, come on through.
Thanks so much. We can't do it without you.
Oh, one for each. Okay. That's all right. You're better than me.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Another round of applause for these guys. The program is excellent, and we've had such great experiences in this program. All right, let's move forward with our regular meeting. Since this is an action meeting, we have an audience of citizen. Anyone wishing to speak to the board, please step forward. State your name and address. Sign the audience of citizens logbook for us.
Yes, my name is Ed Madge. I reside at 424 Bonnie Lane. I'm sure a few of you people have been here, have seen me up here before. The first thing I'd like to just make a point of, this summer I had the honor of being the one that drove our students that were going over to Germany on a several-week trip over to Germany. I'd done it in the past when they went up to the JFK airport. And during our conversation on the ride up there, I said, I know you used to do this. Why don't you do it anymore? And I guess their answer was that we just don't quite get the support we need to promote these type of things. And I guess maybe security reasons or whatever. I hope that this board and the administration does not quell these type of programs. They're invaluable. You should have seen those students. If we have faculty that is young and willing to put the extra effort and organize these things, I think they deserve our full support for these things, because they really are something that is invaluable to people. If you would have saw the look on those people's face when I picked them up both times, you'd see it was well worth whatever aggravation, trouble, and expense it was. The other point of order I'd like to bring up here is, as most of you know, I am a school bus driver. And I know maybe you think I want to harp on this, but I want to make sure clear that you folks here, they're making the decisions, the financial decisions, not only for this year, next year, and 10 years down the road. Don't make a mistake by a good sales pitch. Let me tell you a few facts that are going on at this very moment that maybe the word just doesn't get to you. And things I learn a new thing every day. For instance, understand that most of you are aware that we are asked to go through a program of online certification for various things, suicide prevention, child abuse, and also allergies, food allergies, and the use of the EpiPen, as most of you know. My understanding is that first student will not administer those. So if they have a student on the bus that requires an EpiPen used, guess who's going to get saddled with that student? One of the North Penn School District buses must be transferred over because they refuse to do so. I don't know whether that's something you're aware of, but I don't think that's too good. I've been driving 14 years. Very fortunately, I have never, ever had to administer an EpiPen. I have had parents ask me about them, make me aware of their child's issues. I've made some recommendations that they may want to travel with the EpiPen instead of maybe leaving it at the nurse. But this is something that is increasing importance because there is more and more students becoming up with these food allergies and so forth. Another thing you also want to question, if you're looking again to keep going that route, check around the local districts. As a driver, I do talk when I do field trips or I go other sports trips. I do talk to other drivers, and I'll tell you what, the spirit amongst many of these drivers that have been subcontracted out is not very good. They're not very good at all. Central Bucks has kind of reversed a little bit of their experiment a little bit. Their new board has gotten a little bit disgusted with the performances of it. Just for instance, yesterday evening, it was a subcontractor bus supposed to come to the North Penn High School for an early, late bus run. That bus failed to show up. I do not know the circumstances why. Luckily, some North Penn drivers were available, and they were able to do it at the normal 4:15 pickup time. My understanding was there was so many students out there that one bus could not take them all. They had to utilize two buses. Normally, there's 4, which operate Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was one of those drivers for about 8 years. So take this under a little bit of advisement. Check in to what goes on. More I hear about First and how they operate, from the drivers, from some of the things as far as how they do their fuel. I'll be honest with you, one of our administrators that left our facility went down to Bristol Township as their administrator. They are a subcontractor district. They operate a fueling point for their buses, similar to what we have at the North Penn High School, which fuels our North Penn buses. She found that first student was sending buses over there that didn't even run their district, fueling their buses on Bristol Township's dime. I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I consider that stealing. And she said that was flagrant use of it. And luckily, she noticed that the numbers on the bus weren't their buses. So be aware. If a deal sounds too darn good, usually it is too good to be true. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Dr. Dietrich, you want to, let me do the recommend approval of the minutes of the August 17th, 2017 action meeting, as well as the minutes of the work session held on September 5th, 2017 as circulated.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kerr, second by Mrs. Perkowski. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Let's go through committee reports, support services. Mr. Schilling, but he's not here tonight. Patrick, do you have it?
Yes, I do.
Mr. McGee.
The Support Service Committee met on August 28th, 2017. The plans for the new high school baseball dugouts were reviewed. The baseball team is funding the entire project. The softball team is planning to contribute a portion of the funds for the softball dugouts, possibly later next year. The committee reviewed a change order for stormwater pipe repairs at Knapp Elementary School and additional asbestos abatement at Montgomery Elementary School. A support service update was shared detailing summer projects, including both contracted projects and projects that were completed by North Penn staff. The committee reviewed the recent agreement for electricity purchasing. The district's electrical rate was locked from 2019 through 2024, resulting in a savings of $550,000. Next Support Service Committee meeting will be held on Monday, September 25th, 2017, at 6 p.m. here at the ESC. End of report.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick, is that savings annually or over the contract? Per energy?
Over the contract,
Over
over
the
a 5-year
contract?
contract.
Very impressive. Any other questions for support services tonight? Finance, Mr. O'Donnell.
Finance Committee report for Thursday, September 14, 2017, an update from the regular meeting of August 28th. New business, the monthly financial reports were reviewed with additional discussion on the following items. Finance Committee student representative, the committee introduced and welcomed Bill Wermuth, an 11th grade student at North Penn High School, as a student representative of the Finance Committee. Sale of obsolete school buses, Mr. Schrocky reviewed and proposed for the sale of 7 obsolete buses for a total of $6,600. Transfer to capital reserve, Mr. Schrocky reviewed the process for a transfer to the capital reserve fund. The committee's recommendation was to wait till the 16-17 audit results and then transfer any unspent funds to the capital reserve fund for future project. 2018-19 proposed budget calendar. Mr. Schrocky presented a proposed 2018-19 budget calendar with a timeline in accordance with a possible application for Act 1 exception. 2018-19 Act 1 index. Mr. Schrocky informed the committee that the 18-19 Act 1 index will be 2.40, down from the current 2.5. Procurement card rebates. Mr. Schrocky presented information on the history of the procurement card rebates. Over $90,000 in rebates has been received in the past 2 years. Investment income update. Mr. Schrocky presented a historical summary of interest earnings. Interest income has tripled to over $610,000 in the past 3 years, even with a low interest rate environment. All funds are 100% secured as per compliance with Act 72 collateral. Items recommended for the work session: sale of obsolete, or action meeting, sale of obsolete school buses, 2018-19 proposed budget calendar, and the 2017-18 capital reserve fund transfer. That will be on October 19th agenda. Next meeting will be on Monday, September 25th, 6:30 p.m. at the ESC. End of report.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. Any questions of finance tonight? Mr. Kerr?
Personnel Committee met in executive session September 5th, 2017, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., discuss matters of personnel, negotiations, and potential litigation. Surprise, surprise.
Say, is that all?
Is that all? Yeah. Questions, comments? I can't answer them. So.
That's why they're personnel matters. They have a right to privacy. Everyone does. Safe Schools, Ms. Prokowski.
Yes, the Safe Schools Committee met on September 11th. The status of the security camera project at Gwynnor, Knapp, Oak Park, and York Avenue was discussed. The new video recording servers will be installed beginning next week. The installation of the cameras will continue through October. Over the summer, meetings were scheduled with each principal to review the CERT concepts, purpose, and implementation steps, timeline. All buildings were surveyed to collect and verify facility data to develop floor plans with facility information, door numbers, and utility controls. Finalized and distributed classroom emergency guides to replace the red binders in all classrooms. The summer and start of the year security activities were reviewed, which included created an Emergency Operations Center handbook, identified team members and roles. Next steps will include tabletop and functional exercises. They identified members and have an initial meeting scheduled at the end of September with the district student reunification team. The first of 3 law enforcement collaboration meetings was held on October 21st. In attendance were representatives from all 6 police departments, juvenile probation, secondary principals, Dr. Holben and Dr. McKay. Report exec system is being implemented for tracking incidents, property, parking, vandalism, training, drills and exercises, and emergency response documents. Our next meeting will be held on November 13th at 6 p.m. here in the ESC. End of report.
Thank you, Mrs. Prokowski. Any questions for Safe Schools tonight? Education, Community, and Policy, Mrs. Charnock.
Thank you, Mr. Shapinsky. The ECP committee met on Monday, September 11th. At the meeting, the committee reviewed a new board policy, 5146.1, administration of naloxone. Naloxone is a medication that has been successfully used to counteract the potentially fatal risks caused by opioid drugs. Due to statewide concerns about opioid abuse, school districts are encouraged by the PA Departments of Education, Health, and Drug and Alcohol programs to establish a naloxone program. To implement a program, districts must obtain a standing order from their medical director or physician, adopt a board policy specific to naloxone administration, and train responsible personnel, including nurses, on the indications of an opioid overdose, as well as how to administer the medication naloxone. After approval of this board policy, which is on the agenda as a first reading this evening, the district will be able to move ahead with the implementation of this program. The committee also received a curriculum update regarding the English Language Development, or ELD, program and English Language Arts. Children are tested for inclusion in the ELD program when more than one language is spoken in the home. This year, the ELD student population in the district has increased to 632 students as a result of new enrollments and stricter criteria from PDE for exiting the program. To support these students and their families, the district offers programs throughout the year. Examples of these programs include an ELD summer program and an ELD family night. In secondary English, a new literature anthology was adopted for the 2017-18 school year. While there are class sets of textbooks plus extra books for students to borrow, an online license was purchased for each student. This enables students to access these resources using their Chromebooks. For students in grade 3 through 8, the English Language Arts PSSA tests will change this year to reduce the testing time from 4 sessions to 3 sessions. Despite these changes, the curriculum frameworks in the district will remain as they are currently. The committee also received information regarding efforts to identify an online assessment and data management system to replace the software currently used in the district. New software will streamline assessment scoring and provide more robust tools for analyzing student achievement. After board approval, the timeline will be a 3-month implementation, a pilot in spring 2018, and complete conversion for the 2018-19 school year. The next ECP meeting will be on October 16th due to the Columbus Day holiday on October 9th. End of report.
Thank you. Any questions for ECP this evening?
Question. We had talked at the last meeting about scheduling a discussion at some point in the future about class sizes and how we group our kids. Does either Dr. Holman or Mrs. Charnock, do you have an update on when that discussion will take place?
Mrs. Charnock and I looked at the calendar for the year, and we tentatively have that scheduled for January.
Okay, thank you.
North Monco Technical Career Center, who's got the report tonight?
I guess I can do it. We met
Mr. Kerr.
last month. Relatively short meeting. The paving work has been completed at the facility. And once again, one of the Monco students won the national prize in the culinary field. And much like the one the year before, which I think was a North Penn grad, this young man is from Souderton, got a full ride to the Culinary Institute of America. Just extraordinary. And he's a front-of-the-house person. Now, it's in his DNA, as his parents own a restaurant up in Harleysville. But extraordinary. I mean, what a prize. You know, $150,000, whatever, full ride. Doing something right over there. So, end of report.
Chef Charlie's got a good reputation.
He does. It's doing something right, no doubt.
One of the top instructors in Pennsylvania.
Is that right?
Uh-huh. Thank you. Any questions of the Technical Career Center?
We meet, by the way, we meet Monday is the next meeting. All right, next Monday.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr. Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, Mr. Diazio.
Thank you. The IU board met on August 23rd. Again, short meeting for the beginning of the school year. One thing to note, though, here for North Penn, the IU is approved for an additional Head Start class for the current school year. It will be opening shortly at Hatfield Elementary, and that will be serving our students here in the district. So that's positive news. It's an IU class, but they'll serve students in our district that are pre-kindergarten age to promote school readiness. The next meeting is September 27th. End of report.
Thank you, Mr. Diazio. North Penn Educational Foundation, Ms. Leonard.
Thank you.
The foundation held its 199th meeting last week, which means we are celebrating a milestone on October 4th when we hold our 200th meeting. Congratulations to the foundation for nearly 30 years of supporting student needs in North Penn schools. At the meeting, we discussed new policies that are being developed in terms of investments and gifts acceptance. They will be voted upon at the next meeting. We also discussed the financial review that will take place in the coming weeks by an external auditor. Due to the resignation of Matt Broderick at last month's meeting, elections for a new vice president occurred. Congratulations to Marion Fraley, a community member and parent of a North Penn High School graduate, for taking on this important position. We also welcomed a third student liaison, sophomore Bridget Hubner. She joins 2 North Penn High School juniors, and their assistance and input is greatly appreciated. Finally, the foundation will be accepting new grant applications for the school year beginning in October. North Penn educators can expect to see an email soon regarding submission guidelines. If you have any questions about the foundation, you can contact Christine Liberowski at the ESC. Our next meeting is Wednesday, October 4th at 7:45 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Leonard. All right, let's move forward with our superintendent report. Dr. Dietrich.
Thank you, Mr. President. I recommend approval of agreements in lieu of free and appropriate public education for students 9-14171 and 2, and I recommend approval of settlement agreements and release for students 9-14173 and 4.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kerr, second by Mrs. Prokowski. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved.
I recommend approval of North Penn School District residents tuition-free 40 school days maximum for students 9-14175, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, whose names are on file in the office of the superintendent.
Motion by Mr. McGee, second by Mrs. Charnock. Comments or questions?
Questions?
Go ahead.
I don't know if you can answer this or not, but what is the general reason?
The families are in the process of relocating, and then they can be here for 40 days as they are in that transition type of period.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of the collective bargaining tentative agreement between the North Penn Board of School Directors and the North Penn Educational Support Professionals Association for the years 2017-18 through 2019-20, and authorize the board president to sign the finalized collective bargaining agreement upon incorporation of changes from said tentative agreement per item BA4, A through C.
Motion by Mr. Kerr, second by Mr. Diazio. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Diazio?
Aye.
Mr. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Prokowski?
Yes.
Mr. Schilling is absent. Mrs. Charnock?
Yes.
Mrs. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Shapinsky?
I must abstain.
Motion carries 7 with 1 abstention, 7-0 with 1 abstention.
Thank you.
Recommend approval of the collective bargaining tentative agreement between the North Penn Board of School Directors and the North Penn Education Association for the years 2017-18 through 2020-21, and authorize the board president to sign the finalized collective bargaining agreement upon incorporation of changes from said tentative agreement per item BA5, A through U.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kerr,
Second.
second by Mrs. Prokowski. Any comments or questions before we go? Mr. Kerr?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the participants in the negotiations for both unions. A lot of hard work, but I think it turned out to be something that will be helpful to get everyone back in focus of what we all do best around here, and that's educate kids. I just want to know that these are not easy tasks that are done when folks have other responsibilities as well, so.
Thank you, Sean.
I'd like to thank representatives from the union in the audience. Thank you, guys. I heard that it was passed by your membership today. I also would like to thank the negotiation committee from the board who put a lot of hard work and time, along with the administrators who supported you. So thank you. Roll call, please, Mr. Zaraki.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Prokowski?
Yes.
Mr. Schilling is absent. Mrs. Charnock?
Yes.
Mrs. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Diazio?
Yes.
Mr. Sierpinski?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Move on.
I recommend approval of the sale of North Penn School District obsolete buses per item BA6.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. Diazio. He beat you by just a, comments?
Yeah, how much will we be getting for those?
Don't we sell them
buses?
at an auction? Or are they already sold at the auction?
We already have a proposal. It's $6,600 total.
Sounds kind of cheap, doesn't it?
I mean, didn't you hear my finance report?
Should we buy it and like
I
paint
said
it
that.
eagles on the side of it and Phillies and then? Jeez. Usually they're really, really bad. They have to be towed away. Sometimes flatbedded even.
Are we replacing them?
Yeah, I think we have, I thought about asking that question during the report. We have a renewal process going on with our buses. Yes. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of the 2018-19 budget calendar per item BA7, A through B.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. McGee. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of change order to Bristol Environmental Incorporated for the Montgomery Elementary School addition and renovation project at a change of contract amount of $18,300 for the removal of asbestos per item 4817.
Motion by Mrs. Charnock, second by Mr. McGee. Comments or questions?
Yes. Do the children have to be out of the building during this?
Mr. Kennedy.
This occurred over the summer. They were
No,
not-
we're done.
Yeah.
We're just paying for it now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I suspect all the projects we've done over the years, we open up a wall and find it?
That's correct. These were actually the glue dots behind the old chalkboards, but sometimes we
really?
find the walls, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta explain that. Glue dots.
Glue dots.
Glue dots. Classic. Hidden from sight since the day it was put in. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of change order EC3 to Borough Construction Incorporated for the Montgomery Elementary School addition and renovation project at a change of contract amount of $6,748.29 for the additional bathrooms as per June 22nd, 2017 email correspondence per item 4917.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Diazio, second by Mr. McGee. Comments or questions? All those, go ahead, Mrs. Prokowski, you want to say something?
Why are we building new bathrooms? I missed something. Why weren't they in the original plans, or?
I think this was something additional, right?
Yeah, we discussed this, I think, at the May Support Services Committee meeting, and with the renovations, the bathroom count was less than similar-sized elementary schools. I think 5
Okay.
staff bathrooms. We brought it up to 7, which was comparable to our other buildings.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of change order GC6 to Lobar Construction Incorporated for the Montgomery Elementary School addition and renovation project at a change of contract amount of $12,096.44 for the additional bathrooms per the June 22nd, 2017 email correspondence per item 5017.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McGee, second by Mr. Diazio. Comments or questions again?
The only,
Yes, how many,
it references the breakdown from the architect, but we don't, I mean, please see the attached summary. I don't see any attached summary, unless it's just the following number breakdown, but I think it's just helpful to see the explanation, just as you explained, for Ms. Prokowski. Didn't have enough bathrooms, whatever, so.
I have a quick question. How many bathrooms was the 12,096 cover?
Well, no, there's different contractors involved in this process, Frank.
Well, for the four change orders cover 2 additional bathrooms, modifications to existing and adding 2 new ones.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm just curious of what the average bathroom would cost, because above we said 6,700, and that was for how many bathrooms?
But
Well,
that
that's
was,
different.
that was for
Make
the
sure-
electrical portion of it. So
Right.
there's four changes, there's electrical, general construction, plumbing, and mechanical. So all four contractors had work in these bathrooms.
Okay, thank you.
I have a motion and a second. Any other comments?
Scott, thank you on this one. I think this is the one you went back and renegotiated a lower price for us with the subcontractor, so I appreciate that.
We all do.
We're sharpening our pencil a
There
little
you
bit
go.
with some of these subcontractors.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of change order MC1 to Worth and Company for the Montgomery Elementary School and addition and renovation project at a change of contract amount of $9,689.47 for the additional bathrooms per the June 22nd email per item 5117.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Diazio, second by Mrs. Prokowski. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
And recommend approval of change order PC3 to Myco Mechanical for the Montgomery Elementary School addition and renovation project. Change the contract amount of $20,119.32 for the additional bathrooms as per the June 22nd email correspondence per item 5217.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Diazio, second by Mrs. Prokowski. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of change order PC1 to Myco Mechanical for the Knapp Elementary School plumbing project. Change the contract amount of $21,843.09 for replacement of underground stormwater piping in front of the school per item 5317.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McGee, second by Mrs. Prokowski. Comments or question? This is a long-term project, guys, if you don't remember the days of the pipes outside on the ground. This has been a real long-term coming project, so I'm grateful to see it done. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of the waiver of tuition for the International Friendship Exchange students for the 2017-18 school year as listed.
Motion by Mrs. Charnock, second by Mr. McGee. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend acceptance of the gifts to the district as listed.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Charnock, second by Mr. O'Donnell. Comments or questions?
Thank you for your gifts.
Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Approved.
Recommend approval of the personnel items listed A through D.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. Kerr. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
With that action, we did approve Tanya Swavely as our new principal for Inglewood Elementary. Tanya is in the audience, and if you could just give a little wave there, and she'll be available after the meeting for you to come up and do some introductions. So welcome aboard, Tanya.
Welcome.
Recommend approval of student travel per item BA 11.
Motion by Mrs. Charnock, second by Mrs. Prokowski. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of contracts per BA 12, A through I, copies of which are on file in the Office of Business Administration.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. McGee. Comments or questions?
I have a question.
Mr. Diazio.
Dr. Holben, let's talk about ULLC Incorporated, if we could. John Hodge, Professional Development, 3 days, secondary school, 28,000. That's a not-to-exceed amount, so.
It's not to exceed, and it's also more than, I don't know why that only says 3 days. It's more than 3 days on site, because that also includes all of the planning time and that sort of thing as well. He is a contractor that we are looking to work with our secondary schools on cultural proficiency and on school culture, school climate type training. He actually spoke at our Meeting the Needs of All Learners Day back last March, and the teachers and the administrators at the secondary level were very interested in having him come back and do more work with them.
Ed has a good point.
It just
Could
sounds
we
like a
get
lot
some
of
more
money.
detail?
Yeah, I can get that for you. It should not just say 3 days. It is more than 3 days of work.
Can we table that one contract?
Sure, if you want to, but why would you? Isn't he going to come work for us like next week?
We've actually, within the next month, yes.
Well, we'll be here next month. I'd like to see the detail.
Just tell me we never pay our bills that fast. We can Any problem with tabling that one particular one? Ed, is that what you want to do? You want to remove that from the list?
That's a motion, yes.
Okay, anybody have a second for that, so we can do it properly? Anybody want to second that removal? Susan seconded it. Okay, let's vote on the removal of the one. Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, come on, guys, I need a little bit more yays, or I'm going to call it a no. I see 3 people saying delay it, out of the 8 that are here. Motion fails.
I just heard the assistant superintendent say that this is coming up soon.
Well, we're back to the original motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Frank? All right, motion passes. Sorry to hear that.
That's not to stop looking at it.
No,
and ensuring
no.
that it's,
I wouldn't want,
responsible,
yeah,
reasonable.
there's nothing wrong with that. If something's wrong, then we'll stop it. Okay? But I don't think, I believe Dr. Holden's explanation can be formalized and sent out maybe in an email tomorrow to explain it better for everybody.
Yeah. Our teachers and our administrators were very, very impressed with Mr. Hodges' presentation this past spring, and they did ask if there's any way we could get him back on campus again for some additional work with us. So he had very high reviews from our people.
This also, if I remember correctly, I'll check it for you and I will send you an email tomorrow. My recollection is this involves multiple people in his organization, not just him as well, because they will be working with all 3 middle schools and the high school.
Okay, flush it out for us.
In your email, can you elaborate on what
Sure.
he's
Yeah, absolutely. I
providing
just
and why
have,
it's so
yep,
valuable?
absolutely. I can just go back and pull the contract.
Thank you.
Let's move forward. Dr. Dietrich, why don't you keep going?
I recommend approval of alternative placements per item BA 13, copies of which are on file in the Office of Special Education.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kerr,
Second.
second by Mrs. Charnock. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you, Dr. Dietrich. Let's move forward with our finance report. Mr. Shiraki.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple quick updates. You may have heard in Mr. O'Donnell's finance report, the ACWIN index for the 2018-19 year has been released. It is 2.4%, which is quite surprising. It was projected to be 3% by the IFO, Independent Fiscal Office of the state, but it's 2.4%, actually ticked down from the current 2.5%. Next item, our local audit, which is an annual process of our financial statements, will be starting on Monday. So we'll be presenting some of the financial statements to our Finance Committee in October and then asking for the full board to approve our audit report in November. Also, for, I think, the 3rd straight month, I'm happy, or unhappy, I should say, to report that we still don't have a state budget. Last night, though, the House did pass a revenue package that they sent over to the Senate. So the spending plan was approved back in June, but it's the revenue plan that's the problem. So the House did finally pass a revenue package sent over to the Senate. The Senate will reconvene on Monday. We'll see where that goes. But as of now, we still don't have a fully complete state budget. And it is, what, September 14th. On the Treasurer's report, we had cash receipts in August totaling $118,393,664.87. Our disbursements for August were $12,148,925.92, leaving us with available funds of $172,384,726.72 at the end of August. So that's a very a positive number from a cash flow perspective. That's about $12 million higher than last year at this time. On to sanction and approval
Let's move
of
forward,
invoices.
sanction approval.
Thank you. I recommend ratification of disbursements for the month of August 2017 in the amount of $16,960,295.84 per item BA-15.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. McGee. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Thank you, Mr. Shiraki. Under other business, I make a motion to support President of the PSBA, David Hutchinson, Vice President Eric Wolfgang, Treasurer Michael Gossert, Central at-large Rep Larry Augustine, Western at-large Rep Dan O'Keefe, and for the PSBA Insurance Trust, Michael Fascinato. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. Mrs. Prokowski.
I'd like to make a motion to, or nominate Mr. Otto Voigt for president.
And do I have a second? I'll second that. Heck with that. Put it on the table. I'll second that. That's fine.
Now, wait a minute, so,
She made the motion, I
think he's
second
making-
it.
I
It's
think he's making
live.
fun of me, but I won't.
She made, no, you made a motion, I second it. It's on the floor. Any debate for these names now, guys? Let's bring it up.
but wait, your motion only involves the president.
Just the
Correct.
president.
Everybody else in that slate
I don't care.
that he proposed, you don't care. Fair. That's-
Honest?
that's good.
And to Mrs. Perkowski, I have no strong feelings towards Mr. Hutchinson either, so
I'm just curious as to why you're nominating Mr. or Otto.
Really want to know?
Yeah.
no, don't tell us it's an ex or something. We're gonna,
What's that?
it's not an ex-boyfriend or something, is it?
Gee.
He's a conservative.
Okay.
Any other debate?
I should have said that.
How do you want to proceed? Do we want to just call the others first and then have a vote for president?
You can do all the others together.
Can we?
In one vote, yeah.
Okay.
And then do a separate vote on these.
So approval of the vice president nomination by myself, the treasurer, Central at-large, Western at-large, and the PSBA Interest Trust. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. As for president, let's do a roll call and call out the name you'd like to support.
David or Otto?
Okay, so this roll call vote is for the president-elect. Your choices are David Hutchinson from State College Area School District, Center County, or Otto Voigt from Muhlenberg School District in Berks County. So please indicate which name you prefer. All right, Mr. McGee, you're first up.
Mr. Hutchinson.
Mr. Diazio?
Abstain.
Mr. Kerr?
David Hutchinson.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Mr. Hutchinson?
Mrs. Prokowski?
Otto Voigt.
Mr. Schilling is absent. Mrs. Charnock?
Mr. Hutchins.
Mrs. Leonard?
Mr. Hutchinson.
Mr. Shapinsky?
Mr. Hutchinson.
Mr. Hutchinson has 6 votes. Six votes, that's correct. 6 votes. Mr. Voigt has 1 vote. There was 1 absent and 1 abstention, so Mr. Hutchinson will be the candidate put
So
forth.
for everyone informed, make sure you understand the district now will cast a vote through Mr. Shiraki as our secretary, and he will cast a vote for North Penn to the PSBA website. Okay? Motion to adjourn tonight?
Hold on, I have one thing, other business. With these contracts that we approve every month, is there a way that these can be posted to scanned and posted to the website? Because I like to take a look at these. I looked today, there's close to $1 million worth of contracts here. So I'd like to see them scanned and put online if we could, prior to the meeting, just like we do with the procurement card, payment of bills.
Who are you directing that comment to?
I don't know who does
Mr.
it. but,
Shiraki? He looks like he's ignoring you over there.
I'm not sure who
Not
does
at
it,
all.
but
I'm baffled because I thought they were posted online.
Well, they
I
are.
think he means the actual contract.
Oh, the
Yeah,
actual
the actual
contract.
contracts.
Oh, that's
They're not
another-
executed yet, are they?
Okay. No, they're executed after the meeting. The actual contracts, I think the pile this month was about that thick.
even if they're just in one scanned file, it's fine.
Okay.
What I do, I go through the contracts, and you get emails or calls from me, from you guys all the time, whenever I have something specific. So that's how I get my answers back. I save them all at once. Actually, I put them all in an email, and I say, give me all the detail later on, and you guys get back to me. That's what I do.
And I can narrow my request to contracts in the professional development and curriculum offices. I don't need anything from community ed or anything like that. Just curriculum, essentially.
Okay. I don't see any problem with that. Yes. I mean, but it's going to be after the fact, right? Because how are you going to do it before they're not executed?
We have the actual contract in hand, though. It's not signed until the board acts upon it, but we could scan those and post those.
Okay.
Great, thanks.
Sounds fine to me. Motion to adjourn? So